I was strapped to a bomb, and my boyfriend was too busy saving a cat to care. My boyfriend, Kevin Woods, was a forensic doctor, and I had just been kidnapped by the ex-convict he helped put behind bars. They had strapped a bomb to my chest, and the countdown timer displayed only 10 minutes. The kidnapper glared at me, his face twisted with anger. Call Kevin. Tell him to get his ass you now. The editor reminds you. Search 98,268 on the GoodNovel app to read the full story. Wonderful content continues to play. Part 1. Trembling, I dial Kevin's number, my hands barely able to hold the phone. He picked up on the third ring, his tone exasperated. Michelle, what do you want? I'm at work. Kevin, I've been kidnapped, I blurted out, my voice cracking. They want revenge on you. You mustn't. Before I could finish, the phone was snatched from my hands, and the kidnapper put it on speaker. Kevin's voice filled the room, irritation dripping from every word. Michelle, are you seriously pulling this crap right now? I'm in the middle of saving Vi's cat. It's been stuck in a tree for 3 days, and she's losing her mind over it. You think you can just make up stories like this because you're jealous? My heart sank. Kevin, I'm not. That's enough, Kevin snapped, cutting me off. If Vi's cat dies, it'll be on you, and don't you dare use your life as leverage just because you can't stand her. Then I heard Hira's soft, sweet voice on the other end of the line. Thanks for this, Kev. You're amazing. I knew that voice. It was Violet Ray, Kevin's childhood friend. The line went dead, and the phone dropped from the kidnapper's hand with a dull thud. He cursed under his breath, glaring at me. Your boyfriend doesn't give a damn about you, does he? He shook his head in disbelief. We got the wrong woman. Tears blurred my vision. Even the kidnapper knew. Even he could see that Kevin had never truly cared about me. And here I was, realizing it for the first time on the last day of my life. The timer showed 5 minutes. I closed my eyes, my heart pounding, tears streaming down my cheeks. I had loved Kevin deeply, foolishly, and now, at the very end, I had nothing left, not even the comfort of knowing that he would miss me. I took a deep breath and typed a message to Kevin. Farewell forever. I pray we will meet each other again in another life. I pressed send. The timer hit 0. In those final seconds, I understood that love is not always returned, and sometimes letting go is the only way to be free. The editor reminds you. Search 98,268 on the GoodNovel app to read the full story. Wonderful content continues to play. Part 2. I floated above what was left of my body, feeling strangely detached. Bits and pieces of me scattered across the ground, remnants of a life that no longer mattered. I should have felt grief, anger, something, but all I felt was an empty, quiet calm. Death was, in its own way, a release. The flashing lights of emergency vehicles painted the scene in eerie red and blue hues. Kevin arrived at the scene trailing behind the police. He looked as if this was just another day, another body. He didn't know it was me, not yet. What do we have? Kevin asked, his voice steady and professional. He knelt down, his eyes scanning over what was left of me. My heart clenched, hoping stupidly that maybe he'd recognize something. Anything. One of the officers responded. We found traces of gunpowder. The bomb was likely handmade. The victim's identity is still unknown. Kevin nodded, his face betraying nothing. Female, mid-20s, he observed, his tone distant. Based on the clothing, she was dressed stylishly. Cross-check with reports of missing women, ages 20 to 30. I stared at him, waiting for any sign that he knew that he cared. But there was nothing. No flicker of recognition. No hint of grief. Just cold detachment. The officers began moving what remained of my body into a bag. I followed them, my presence invisible, tethered to the scene to Kevin. He turned, walking back towards his car, and I drifted after him, unable to break away. Kevin got into the passenger seat of the car, his partner William behind the wheel. William glanced at Kevin. Chief Jacobson was looking for you earlier. Had your phone off? Kevin sighed, shaking his head. Yeah, Michelle was being a pain again. I turned it off. Even in death, his words stung. I was here, my body broken, my soul tethered, and he spoke about me like an inconvenience. William shot him a look. You know, Kevin, maybe she was just trying to show she cared. Kevin scoffed. Show she cared. She sent me a goodbye message, like some melodramatic stunt. Probably trying to make me feel guilty. He didn't know. He had no idea that I was really gone. And I could see in that moment, he wouldn't even care if he did. The car ride was silent after that. I sat in the back, feeling nothing but the weight of everything I had ignored for years. The truth was glaring, blinding now. Kevin had never cared. When they arrived back at the station, Kevin's phone buzzed. He glanced at the screen, a familiar number flashing across it. My father. Kevin, my father's voice was frantic. Michelle's missing, we've been trying to reach her. Her description, it matches the woman in the news. Please, Kevin, tell me it's not her. Kevin's face went pale, and for the first time, his mask slipped. He looked at William, his eyes wide, a flicker of uncertainty crossing his face. It can't be, Kevin whispered, almost to himself. I watched, waiting. Would he finally feel something? Would he care now that he knew? I wanted to believe he might regret it, but deep down, I knew better. He had already let me go long before today. Want to know more? Search 98,268 on the GoodNovel app to read the full story.